Hello to my Virgos. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading, Virgos. Hopefully, you all are having a great day. Happy Friday the 13th. This video is for Friday the 13th through Friday the 20th of, like I said, Friday, June the 20th. The moon is in a waning gibbous moon in Capricorn, so that could affect your back. You want to pay attention to your back, and you also want to pay attention to like emotional eating as well. Um, Something could be causing people to get nervous, right? Something around, sixth house, around your health, your work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices, but it could be affecting your back. And that's source's way of saying, okay, that's where it's time to get into prayer warrior mode. Like really pray and ask source for clarity. Get out and get some sun to recharge and reset so that source can give you some downloads. And take a notepad with you wherever you are. Take a notepad with you wherever you are. I start each day with a positive attitude. That's right. Keep your vibrations high. Start each day with a positive attitude, because when source is trying to give you some downloads, you want to be at a high frequency. You want to be able to get your downloads faster. But if you're down around a bunch of people and it's going to low vibrating energies that keeping you distracted, it's going to be kind of hard to hear what source is trying to, the message that source is trying to, download into your spirit. So um, Friday, you could feel it in your backbone, or you could have, on Thursday, you could have felt it in your backbone, your joints, your skin, your hair. You could have noticed something about your skin, your hair. Um, those are indicators. So it's like, okay, I need you to start praying, and then praying about your future. Start praying about your 11th house, which is about your friendships, your community, your goals, your hopes, your wishes, your awareness, your humanitarianism, your technology, the future. Like, start praying about those things. Start thinking about your future. So 711, persistence. Reap the rewards of your efforts. You've been working very hard towards your goals, but at some point you have to take all that you've done and benefit from it. Your angels ask you to honor your growth. Reflect on something that you've been working on for a long time and think about how far you've come. Really give yourself some credit, Virgos, for lessons learned, task accomplished, and fears faced. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You're closing out a cycle with two energies, because you're getting off the fence and you're becoming enlightened. Throat chakra. That your words are very powerful. This is what you're saying. Your words are very powerful. You've been able to speak some things into existence and see it, like see it for yourself. And so source really wants you to go within in a spiritual sense. You've been able to see it in the physical realm of some things that you've spoken into existence. That I'm going to be the first this, I'm going to be the first that, I'm going to be the this and that. You've spoken some things into existence. And source said, I've shown you the physical evidence of the power of source inside of you. So go and relax in the sunlight, because you're closing out a cycle. Somebody is getting back to just knowing who they are, seeing the power inside of you. So let's get into it. The moon in Capricorn. The moon in Capricorn, we're not talking about any Capricorns whatsoever. We're talking about the Capricorn rules 10th house. 10th house is about career, life goals, achievements, public image, the masculine side of yourself, right? Divine masculine side of yourself, what you've actually been able to do, like you've taken some kind of action on, right? Social status, fame. And so source is saying, think about your future. It's time to give something over to source. It's time to give something over to source. Let source fight your battles. Whatever the battle is, stop chaining yourself, because something is stopping it. Somebody is, tiptoeing into being their own worst enemy. This is seventh house. Illegally, seven. The number of seven is the justice card, right? Seventh house is about marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, enemies. At some point, sources said it's time to get off the fence and get enlightened. Enlighten, step into the light within. You've been able to speak some other things into existence. Why can't you speak something else into existence? Somebody's been riding a fence with something. So it's like, listen, give something over to source. Start each day with a positive attitude. Let's get into it. Let's see what the first question is that I want to ask source on your behalf. Virgos, on your behalf. Let's see. Yeah, Source is really, really trying to get everybody's attention back on the creator, right? And so to unchain you from being connected to anyone else's karmic cycles. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see what is going on here. Okay, so let's get into questions from Source. Questions I want to ask Source on your behalf, Virgos. Because yeah, you'll be closing out some cycles and just letting Source fight your battle. Because when you look at your accomplishments and the things that you've already done, Source is like, okay, why, we're talking about ear, nose, and throat here, right? We're talking about throat chakra. Why aren't you speaking, closure in love, out? Source does not want you chained to other people's. Remember, after 7 is 8, right? So the eighth house, Scorpio rules eighth house. We're not talking about any Scorpios. We're talking about eighth house. Eighth house is all about renewal. Why would Source want you to renew a contract with an enemy, the enemy within? When you've already accomplished something, you've already accomplished some things that you can look back on. It sounds like some people are threatened by your energy. Okay, let's just, for real, some energies are threatened by your power. This is not speaking to anybody's ego at all. But people who know their worth and know their value are not threatened by your accomplishments at all. Okay. So make sure the frequency is raised. Source is saying something is already complete. Source is saying something is already complete. Don't chain yourself because something could have a chain reaction. So source is like moving you to the side for some reason so that you are not your own worst enemy, so that you can learn how the number 7 connects us with the justice card. Again, you see those two scales and that sword right there. So Source had to put a sword and some air between you and some energy. So it's to put you outside in the air, get you outside in the air, right? To teach you, to remind you of how powerful your words are as a prayer warrior. You're praying that Source's will be done, not yours or somebody else's, where you don't even know that you've seen something happen. Some energies who have witnessed things happen behind their back are doing the same thing behind yours. Somebody is keeping you in the dark about something. So let's Source fight a battle for you. Let's get into it. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. So during a waning moon in Capricorn, again, it could affect your back, your backbone, your joints, your knees, your skin, your hair. Get out in that sun, cleanse all of that off of you. It's not your burden to carry. Um, The energy supports release, discipline, reflect on long term goals, and letting go of structures or responsibilities that no longer serve your highest good. You've outgrown some things, close out a cycle, get off the fence of overthinking something, and turn on the light within. Hermit, right? Hermit, that's your card, right? So, first question I'm going to ask sources: what responsibilities or burdens is Virgo's ready to release? Okay, yeah. A particular feeling like you have jumped out of a treasure chest when you're dealing with hidden enemies, right? You think that you're in a good relationship with some energies until you finally speak up. When you're in your feminine energy, your divine feminine energy, you're a receiver, right? When you receive something, you feel like you hit the jackpot until you take some kind of action, like speak up, say no, think for yourself, correct something, because you all are highly analytical. When you correct something, then all of a sudden, then you realize you are the enemy. So this is you knowing your worth. People feel like they hit the jackpot when they get a Virgo in your personal or your professional life. When I say people look at you all and they know, people who study Virgos, they know they hit the jackpot. But it's usually energies who don't know their worth or know their own value. We're not talking about egotistical. We're not talking about arrogance. We're talking about people who appreciate your light just like you appreciate theirs. There is no competition. There is none, right? Yeah. But something is over. Something is over. Source is going to have you to reflect on some things. You got a message coming through, something from somebody who is younger than you are. Something is already over. It's already over because you came into a situation to bring harmony and balance into something. Source was using you to bring some kind of harmony and balance into something. And guess what? Just like clockwork, the enemy, the devil, right? Something runs deep for them. So something about you is not going to turn around. Something for you is like, you know what? Not even if you saw a pig fly. But somebody, a youthful energy is sending you a message, right? Somebody who is either younger than you or have a youthful spirit. Then nah, when your back is against the wall, you tapping in. You tapping into source. You're not playing games. So you're learning now how real love works. Self-love, agape love. You're creating something new. So something is going to bring somebody to tears because somebody has been carrying all this water on their back for a long time. And it doesn't, it's not always in a physical sense. Just be so we're crystal clear. I'm talking to men and women, Virgos, or sixth house, right? Sixth house is about health, work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices. You've been carrying a lot of water on your back, almost like you're feeding a whole nation of energies, right? You're pouring into everybody else, right? But the first time a Virgo says no, or you analyze something where you're really trying to bring balance and harmony. Remember, your card, your symbol is the Virgin. You want to try something new, right? Here comes the enemy again, who has this God complex because that is the who has this God, because the opposite of that, here we have seven is four, right? Somebody has a God complex. Somebody will follow what I'm saying. Has a God complex. 4 and 7 is 11. So it's like, nah. The first time you introduce something and you're trying to bring things into balance and harmony and trying to be harmonious and all of this other stuff, and somebody says no, so it's like, okay, you need to go into prayer mode because anything other than that is for somebody, it's like stepping into a God complex. Somebody looked at you, somebody who has a God complex, they look at your first house, they look at your personality, your temperament, your appearance, your self-image, your first impression, their first impression or self-awareness or outlook on life. They say, oh, we hit the jackpot. We hit the freaking jackpot with Virgo. Virgo is a perfectionist. They're going to bring harmony, but it's harmony whoever's way, whether it's in your personal or your professional life. All we need to do is contain Virgo. We need to control Virgo's emotions. But good luck with that. And I'm not saying this to boost anybody's ego, okay? Because something in you, a younger person, right? No matter who the younger person is, don't really matter, don't have that. They have this because age doesn't equate to wisdom. Sometimes people are just like, you've been on earth longer, but some people have that. Not see this these wings right here. Not if they saw a pig fly through the sky, would they go back to something, being around certain energies, right? So something is going to make somebody cry, almost like, okay, I can release this. I need to create something new. I can release this. Some younger generation, sometimes younger generation, whether they're younger, it could be a year younger than you. It's just like have a childhood innocence to them. Whether it's person could be a year younger than you are, 2, 3, 5 years younger than you are. It could be 20, 30 years younger than you are. Something about their energy in terms of fourth house, we're talking about four of cups, where people may have deemed them, oh, this person is depressed, this person is this person is that. Oh no. First house, right? Where people looked at them and said, okay, this person is a crybaby, right? But for every tear that fell out of your eye, Listen, I'm trying to tell you, I'm talking to a man or woman, Virgo, every single tear that fell out of your eye, God said, listen, crybabies unite. Not crybabies unite, but you know what I'm saying? Like every tear that fell out of your eye, God said, oh, no, no. You know what? This energy has so much compassion in them. It comes out through their tears. That is not a sign of weakness. That's a sign for somebody, it's a sign of compassion. And so somebody is like, no, mm-mm. Listen, we create. See, what people keep forgetting is um, what's going on with these planetary alignments right now. But so yeah, when you're feeling something in your back, like you've been carrying people on your back, so it's like okay, like it's time to lighten the load. You need to be in contact with some energies who, when they back up against the wall, and people have said things about them like, oh, you know, there has been, they cry too much, they're this and that, so on and so forth. They know how to tap in. They know how to tap into source. So yeah, start each day with a positive attitude and persistently do that. Do that with persistence so you can reap the rewards of your efforts. Go into hermit mode so a light can turn on. Go into hermit mode so a light can turn on. Yeah. If somebody dealing with some shady energies, it's the page of wands here, and some other people got it. They got it. Yeah, so it's just saying something about your teenage years where somebody was very active in their teenage years in terms of like your and we're talking about the physical realm just so we're crystal clear. Something became very clear to you in your teenage years that people saw you as competition. Something became very clear. Sources taking it back to that. Sources reminding you between the age of 15 to 21, something became very, very clear that people saw you as competition and they were being shady. Whatever you look like, I don't care whether you're a man or woman, it don't really matter. They start being shady with you. Maybe you know, maybe you was in a band or something. See this right here? Maybe you was a majorette, or maybe you were in a band camp or something like that, and somebody created something to show you that, hey, let's make something real clear here. Something is deep for certain energies, but let's make something clear. Okay, in order for your wishes to be fulfilled, you need to be contained. Something in your spirit right now is like, oh no, uh, by whose authority, right? So anyway, how can Virgos restructure their life to reflect more balance and integrity? Yeah, shining a light on some things. A light is going to turn on from the inside. Source is talking to you. Source says you need to get out in the sun though, because some kind of a deep spiritual cleansing is happening here. A deep spiritual cleansing is happening because you've been carrying too many people on your back. Forget all of that. Like some of y'all got these weak links in the chain in your workplace, carrying everybody on your back at work, in your personal, your professional life. It's like, everybody got to carry their own weight at this point. And right now, you know exactly who is who. This is the King of Pentacles. You know exactly who is who. So, yep, you know exactly who is who. That's why somebody now is saying, nah, That's why you're going into hermit mode. You're getting some rest. You're getting some rest. You're finally getting some rest. So where has Virgo maybe been too rigid or controlling, or how can Virgo soften? And again, this is again somebody has been in fight mode for so long with shady people, dealing with shady people. Somebody almost like it's something in this. So the waters got a little muddy. Like like when you're ever been in like ocean where you see the ocean, and one side of the ocean is green, the other side of the ocean is blue, but you see that sort of a line in the ocean. The lines got crossed, almost like somebody has been in this making everybody else feel like they hit the jackpot when they get a Virgo, that some lines got crossed, right? Some lines got crossed where somebody was like, okay, confused at that moment of confusion. At that moment of confusion, from now on, somebody's like, if somebody made some little emotionally immature comment to you when somebody was younger, basically, like, let's say, for instance, I'm gonna give somebody an example. Let's say somebody was a majorette or somebody was on a band, right? Somebody, you were the leader of a band or whatever. And I'm talking about like in school. Y'all know, y'all may have played in a band, right? Um, and somebody says, "Oh no, we can't have you to represent this school," right? Maybe you're the first woman to lead a band, right? Um, or maybe you're the first, whoever, doesn't really matter. And somebody was shady about it. You're the first. Remember, your card is Virgin. You were the first to do something, but some energies were trying so hard to be shady towards you. Okay, let's create some kind of a distraction. Or that's why Source said, no, pass the baton. Some energies who energies took a look at and thought, okay, these energies, Meek is weak. Source is saying, mm-mm. Yeah, here's the so somebody's basically saying your words are gonna be used against you and all this other stuff and whatever. Like I said, go into prayer mode. Source really wants you to go into prayer mode by yourself, not with someone else. By yourself. Source wants you to go into prayer mode by yourself. Get up under the sunlight and talk to Source with a notepad and write down your notes. Just free write. What lessons have Virgo learned about success, failure, and perseverance? Source. And continue to start each day with a positive attitude. Start each day grateful. See how this person's arms up to the sun? You can tell they've been spinning around because the chain around their neck is just like, just spinning around to the sun. Somebody's just very happy and a very positive, high rate. You've been carrying people for so long. Somebody's back may hurt. And so by the time the moon moves into Aquarius on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of June, somebody may feel it in their calves, their ankles, shins, and Achilles, because sources saying it's time for you to walk away from something, walk away from feeling like you got to carry everybody on your back. Mom, dad, brother, sister, the people on your job. I'm just gonna say personal and professional life because this deals with the scales of balance. It's an imbalance that's going on for somebody to feel like they have to carry everybody. Just like, put a manhole cover over that. It's time to put a manhole cover over it. Yeah. It's like when somebody sits around a table of people, somebody is the most detail oriented, like, okay, it's like you're carrying a hope, but somebody's not getting paid. You should be rich for as many people you carry. Sources, but as soon as you say no, all of a sudden people start playing mind games. Okay. And because you're highly adaptable, some energies have claimed, oh, this person is the same thing has happened to other people. When people start speaking up and they know they are highly creative, and people start speaking up and you just want to bring balance and harmony into situations, okay, let's see if we can find out with people's demons. Let's shine a light on people's demons. So this is the Hermit card. Not that being a hermit is a demon. It's not like you're going up to a mountain somewhere and spending 90 days in a mountain and with no Wi-Fi. Y'all know what I'm saying. So it's saying to you, people try to demonize people who go into hermit mode so they can get their downloads. So Source saying, deem them as, oh, this person, they must be depressed. Their back is against the wall. They poured out. Nothing is working out for them. They're a crybaby, all of this other stuff. Every time you see they sad about something, so that people start putting together teams of stuff. So it's like, no, it's nothing wrong with going into hermit mode and being by yourself, because you need to get your downloads. So Source is saying it's time to sunbathe all of that off of you, because your ancestors are trying to get a message through to you. So this is just balancing somebody out. So what legacy is Virgo building, and what must be cleared to continue the path? And it's sunbathing, getting out in the sun, and to remember your worth and your value. Somebody is very, very valuable to any room, any space you step into. And people who know their value and know their worth don't see you as competition, not your outer or inner appearance. They actually celebrate you, whoever you are. Whether you're a man or woman, it doesn't matter. They actually celebrate you. So Source is saying, because nobody can do it by themselves. That's why we're not put on earth by ourselves. We're here to help each other, not hurt each other. So in the physical sense, some energies feel like if they can shine a spotlight on, it's almost like an energy is putting a mirror in your face. Water is reflective. So something in your spirit should feel like, oh wow, they say some energies are saying this to me right in my face. Like, you know how sometimes you walk away and you don't even realize somebody was shading you right in your face? Like that person just called you a so and so right in your face and you didn't even realize it, right? So basically somebody's saying, so like for instance, if somebody has ever said that you were um um like somebody's trying to pull you into something. So if a person ever said to you, they were like, it seemed like they, let's say you and your colleague are sitting next to each other and your energy, like physically, you may look like somebody, right? You may look like somebody, right? That they or remind you of somebody, or maybe you never saw the energy, right? But eventually you see the energy and something about them kind of sort of mirrors you in a way y'all may mirror each other. Maybe y'all look alike, maybe had the same height, body shape, or whatever the case may be. And somebody is saying something to you and you don't realize they're being shady towards you until after the fact. Like somebody may say, um, um, you sure are smart for such and such. It's that for such and such that lets you know, okay, well, wait, for what? Like for a woman? For your age? You sure are, almost like at that point is where the line was crossed, right? So somebody was baited into something. Like you were baited. This is what you and somebody have in common. Being baited into something. The source is already forced. I'm telling you, whoever this is, source already forced somebody's battle. That's why somebody is saying your words are going to be used. Somebody's trying to use your words against you. Something having to do with someone's, all of this water here is either having someone to do with your physical or your mental health. Physical or mental health, because we're talking about sacral chakra energy. Sacral chakra energy. It's like the cycle just continues, right? 7 and 1 is 8, right? So 8 is like some energies are trying to loop you into 8th house. 8th house is about renewing something. Somebody's trying to get you to renew something, something around sexuality, something around death, or ending something or someone, right? Transformation, like they want you or somebody to go through a very powerful transformation spiritually through ear, nose, and throat, right? Like finding something to end something, right? And then also something about shared finances or inheritance or loans or the occult or mystery or intimacy, but it's being used through the 7th house. So it's being used through a marriage, some kind of a relationship, some kind of a partnership, some kind of a business contract, some kind of inner desires, but it's also being used by the enemies. 7th house also speaks to enemies. That's why Source is saying you're not going to be your own worst enemy by not knowing, remembering that you are a prayer warrior. Again, the opposite of 7 would be 4 in terms of like 4th house, like the Libra, the opposite, the polarity sign of Libra, it would be Aries. We're not talking about any Aries that you know, but find out what your sign is in your 1st house, right? Because meek does not mean weak. This is your time to make it all about you. There are gonna be some energies for real. You're gonna get out in the sun by yourself. We talking about 5th house now. 5th house is about romance, creativity, children, projects, fun, self-expression, hobbies, what makes you feel good. You're about to make it all about you. Okay? I mean, if you have a spouse, y'all know what I'm saying. Like within reason, but something about you can ready to make something. You're gonna stop carrying everybody on your back. Some people are gonna say you're being arrogant. They're gonna say that you're being, but the same thing you're gonna have in common with other people. They're gonna say that you're being arrogant. You're this. You're that. The Strength card speaks to Leo, right? So Source, I'm telling y'all, Source is going to use somebody who it may not be Leo in their It may not be because y'all still somebody's still looking in the physical existence. So it may not be a Leo sun sign, right? It may not be a Leo moon sign, but someone who is very, very in tune with their fifth house, right? Someone who is very in tune with their fifth house, who is also a hermit, where light came on for them, right? Where people have called them a bully, right? Five of Swords too, who told them their words were going to be used against them as well. Somebody that you have a lot more in common with that you think. Water is shaped and guided by the earth that holds and surrounds it. Somebody has already walked the journey that you're walking right now. Like I said, you whether you've been on earth longer than they have or not, it's like somebody's spirit had to come back through someone else. This could be a ancestor, right? It could be an ancestor in your family who people would say the same thing to them. Oh, that person, they just say anything out of their mouth. They don't know how they don't know what to say, right? People talked about them behind their back, follow them all over the planet too. So something went from local to international, around the planet, right? Everywhere they travel, right? Just like wherever you travel to, whether you would walk into the bus stop or, traveling on a plane, right? Your confidence level is boosting. So something is already closed out. I'm telling y'all, something is already closed out, and some energy is going to be asking why. They're going to be asking why. Sources not want you to change to some stuff that's going to have a chain reaction on you and drag you down, drag you out of hermit mode, right? Yeah, source is saying when you talk about adaptability, this speaks to Sagittarius. We're not talking about a particular Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules ninth house. Ninth house is all about higher education, philosophy, law, including spiritual law. Again, takes us back to the justice card. You're not going to be disrupting your peace. You're learning how to move on from some stuff. You already been carrying other people on your back. You're not a cow. You're not a heifer. You're not a female cow. You're not a male cow. You're not a bull. You're not an animal. Y'all know what I'm saying. Source is saying all this moving around. You've carried so many people on your back. It's not even funny. Somebody's back is hurting. But source is saying you're about to start learning how to create very firm boundaries. Start seeing some things from a higher frequency, and start saying you can ready to make some things about you. When it's time for you to move on, you're like somebody gonna say, "Oh, you making everything all about you. You selfish. You this and that." Listen, if people, these are familiar spirits are going to say this, and familiar spirits can be dangerous because they don't really know your backstory and how many people you carried on your back. They're only looking at something from a bird's eye view, like this bird right here in somebody's ear, a bird's eye view. Source is saying, if you sat down and wrote down a Virgo, a high vibrating Virgo who's highly analytical, your book would be 999 pages. It'd be 9,999 pages. Look, that's why Source is saying start each day with a positive day and start making some things about you because somebody absolutely deserves it. It's time to take your power back, your spiritual power back, because some people will be like, okay, something has dried up. Um, yeah, yeah. You've already gone through enough darkness. So you're gonna be going in and working on yourself. That's what I'm saying here. You're gonna be going in. Source is giving somebody a break. Yeah. You're planting some new seeds. Yep, somebody's planted some new seeds. And that's what the moon in Capricorn is all about. Because again, see how this energy is walking? This is where you're walking. You're like, you know what? I've already walked this journey before. It's like somebody is having a spiritual awakening out in the sunlight. You're having a spiritual awakening out in the sunlight. And so when the moon moves to Aquarius on the 14th, 15th, and 16th, you may feel it in your calf, your ankle, your shin, your Achilles. And then it's going to move through Pisces on the 17th and 18th, which takes us to the last quarter moon. Remember, we had a full strawberry moon, right? Something about your fruits of your labor. Somebody's been like, they've already planted seeds in this earth. You've created a life that you want to create for yourself. Somebody's like, okay, you're not, at this point, you're not carrying everybody. Like, it's like carrying something up a hill. You know, people want you to carry them while you in hermit mode, while you're in the house at night, whatever time. They want you to carry them through the day and through the night. Like some of y'all in the workplace have gotten phone calls, whatever your shift is on your job or whatever. If you noticed, I feel like somebody works like a job where people are calling you like you the supervisor of the job, like all hours of the night, phone just ringing off the hook because people need your help because you've been carrying so many people. Those days are over. Yeah. So same old game. You're being selfish, you're arrogant, you're this and that. Okay. All right. So, and then the moon, Thursday and Friday, the 19th and 20th of June, the moon is going to be waning crescent in Aries, and you'll feel it in your head, your teeth, your tongue, and your arteries. All I would say is just journal. Take the action of journaling. Aries is a fire sign, so it's just like you're standing firm on your accomplishments. You're putting a manhole cover over the past. You're sending any dark spell work that's been sent your way, right? Return to sender. Anybody that's wishing you any harm, Source is going to expose everybody, anybody that's wishing you any harm or aligned with wishing you any harm. The spell work is going to be sent right back to them. So even the ones that could be smiling in your face but secretly wishing you some harm, guess what? Spell work sent right back to them. You don't even have to worry about it. Just rise above the judgment. Because some energies are obsessed. They're obsessed to a point of arrogance with power, believing that they have the power, like they are the sun. Like there's only like a sun, like stars. Like the sun is not a star. So somebody is like, to some degree, their self-esteem is so low. They were willing to be pulled into something. They're willing to be pulled into something just to have a light shining on them. And look at you. You're about to expand. That's why you're moving on from something. You've been carrying people for too long. Something about you is thinking expansion. So your confidence level is building by the day because Source has somebody outside in during the day, up under that sunlight, recharging and resetting, getting your confidence back. You can ready to start creating boundaries, enforcing those boundaries. Some energy's gonna feel some kind of way about it, but you balance. Source is balancing things out within you in the physical realm. You have enough information on what team that you're on. Somebody is a lone wolf. That's right. A lone wolf, and you're aligning with other lone wolves. I'm telling you, people who know the power that they hold within don't see other people as a threat. And that's not arrogance whatsoever. That's all love. That's when the person who will pray for you, when they see that you're at a low point, they'll go right into prayer warrior mode, whether they know you or not. Spark of life. Don't sink into hopelessness and despair, for in you lives a spark of life that is undefeated and unbeatable. You can overcome everything your destiny depends upon. Yep. So some two energies, this number 7 right here, wanted to loop you into something to end someone else, and they were persistent at doing it. But you should be equally as persistent to say, I'm closing out a cycle. I've been carrying people on my back so long, I almost forgot where the lines were crossed. Here we have instant manifestation. Soul and mind working together create a dream in your heart. You have nothing to lose. You carry the dream. Your intention is pure. Be ready to receive. Yeah. Trust your feelings. You are unique. Your destiny is waiting for you to write your story and pave your own path. Follow your heart. Don't let others dictate who you should be. There it is, Virgos. There it is. Yeah. Somebody is starting to notice that whenever people, they see how detailed you are, whoever these energies are, see that if they can use you for darkness, like bring you down to a lower frequency in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Somebody been going through this stuff since they were younger. I'm telling y'all, next, as it relates to this reading, some people are threatened by, it's almost like this is a mind game that some people try to play. It's almost like people are saying, if they do it, then people can claim they're doing it because of dot, dot, dot. But if you do it, they can't make that same claim, right? It can make the same claim. And y'all take that however you read into it, however you want to read into it. But That's what I'm seeing here in your reading. But start each day with a positive attitude. I'm telling y'all, source is saying be persistent in closing out cycles. Know that you created something for yourself. Like you are the jackpot. Like you, like for real, you hit the jackpot within yourself. And some energies look at you and they go, "Oh, I hit the jackpot. Virgo is going to do whatever I say do." So it's saying, no, obedience to source is better than sacrificing yourself for somebody else. Like, you're already balanced out. Once you see people do stuff behind other people's backs, you're like, to their own loved ones, you're like, nah, I ain't trying to, I'm not trying to be in a relationship with these energies. You talking about you love somebody, but you do something behind somebody's back to your own loved one. I know you don't have no problem doing something to me or people that they say they love. Do something behind their back. You're like, nah, you know, people had no problem doing something to you. So somebody's waking, I don't know who I'm talking to, but, when people stab people in the back that they say that they love or they have this kind of, you know, connection with, whatever kind of connection, you're like, oh, they will have no problem. You easy. Somebody would say you was an easy target. So you planning some kind of vacation. You're about to go on some kind of vacation. So good for you, Virgos. Good for you. Keep your vibrations high. Like I said, you've spoken so many things into existence. You were persistent. You were able to make some things happen and look, bam. Yeah. And look. And I'm talking to you again, sixth house, wherever sixth house is in your birth chart, find out what your sign is in your sixth house. So I'm not just talking about Virgo's sun, moon, rising, Venus. I'm talking to you wherever Virgo falls in your birth chart, but I'm specifically speaking in these areas of health, work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices. Yeah. Humility. So allow me, divine, to always accept the right assistance. I welcome your help in every way and I delight in receiving it. There it is. That's what I have for you. You have King of Pentacles, worth of knowledge. Like I said, somebody is a lone wolf. Some energies take one look at somebody and said, what could we pay them? Since we hit the jackpot with Virgo, what are their demons? The physical realm. The physical realm. What would be their demons? That would be pentacles. It's not always money, right? It's basically kind of going, it could be anything from going up against somebody who knows their worth and their value and comparing you to somebody. But really some energies are secretly making something all about them. Two energies are secretly making something all about them. But once you got out in the sunlight and start really plugging into the power of the sun, right? And start getting your downloads, you're just like, oh, wow. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence, right? See, confidence is knowing you need God, like for real, like you know you need God, like you know you need. I'm gonna come off of that because, again, I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but somebody gonna learn how to just move on quietly through storms in life. You're gonna learn how to 5 and 6 is 11. When you hear somebody talking about somebody being a bully, or you hear somebody talk about somebody is playing mind games and talking about all this stuff, the same stuff that you heard about you, guess what? When you're going to realize when you walk through a door, remember, when you walk through a door, right? Source is saying the first thing some energies did, they looked at you and said, okay, first impression, right? We hit the jackpot. We hit the jackpot. Nine of Cups, we hit the jackpot, right? Because somebody already left, right? And they hit the jackpot. But when you came in, somebody said, okay, we hit the jackpot. Whether you came into an organization, church, mosque, temple, whether it could have been a job that you were on, whether you could have been a whatever, right? Almost like somebody had a quota to fill, right? Okay, we hit the jackpot when Virgo came through the door. But upon your leaving, somebody else is going to, some energies are scrambling to try to find a mirror image of you, and they're going to tell them the same thing. Oh, this person was, we didn't know, we thought that we hit the jackpot. and until we found this out and we had to end something, blah, blah, blah. The source is saying, in all humility, you're learning how to read between the lines. You're ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the communication planet. You're learning to read between the lines. Learning how to read between the lines. That's when you know you really hit the jackpot, when somebody leads you back to the light within yourself. Not when you're sitting around being enlightened by a group of people sitting around a table. If we have the health checkup. Somebody trying to loop 2 and 6 is 8, trying to loop you into something about someone's health. And now you're sitting there waiting on some kind of results. I'm just waiting on, I just want to see if this person is just like what they said. I just got to see it for myself. I can't move until I see it for myself. So it's like somebody still in the physical realm instead of going along with source's flow. Allow me, divine, to move with the flow and respond with calmness and peace. Yeah, respond with calmness and peace. I'm telling y'all, it's a return back to source within you. Something is a return back to source within you. So you're starting each day with a positive attitude. Something about 7-Eleven. Somebody could have said somebody was standing outside of a 7-Eleven. I don't know who that is for. One yes from God is all you need. Your ancestors are proud of you. Back straight, walk away from something. The Archangel Michael is with you. The dispenser of justice is with you. There are signs all around you. Move in silence and move in peace. Somebody is amongst incubi and succubi. Close out the cycle in love. Yeah, you have the gift of precognition. This is foreknowledge of something. So, and this is like even in the spirit realm, somebody has foreknowledge of how things go. It's just something about your energy, that virgin energy, where people feel like, oh, hey, we've never seen anything like this. We hit the jackpot. So it's like you cover all bases in the physical realm. Somebody says this person may look nice, they're smart, they're talented and gifted. So anything that somebody from the past comes up against, you could say, well, as opposing, like, well, no, well, this person, Virgo, has this, and they were able to do such and such with this person. Virgo is that. They were able to do. So anything somebody comes up against, no, what Virgo was able to do. Everybody is created their own image. And we're here really to help each other, not to hurt each other. So take your time to decide. Take your time to decide. So that's what Source is trying to tell somebody. So that's when we talk about spiritual justice is in someone's favor. Spiritual justice is in you in someone's favor. But this is really about building your confidence and your power and knowing who you are, because the meek does not mean weak. Yeah, some energies, two energies are using some energies to, like I said before, and they're being quite persistent. They're being quite persistent because they feel like with you and somebody, they have hit the jackpot. But Source is saying, again, when you're dealing with, once you get to a point where you let Source fight your battles, and that's like, okay, you're no longer edging Source out. You're letting Source fight your battles for. Okay, so we had to make a little bit more room. Yeah, somebody's trying to drag you and somebody into something, but has basically said it's two energies that's basically pulling you and somebody into something. Because for them, they feel like with you and somebody, they have hit the jackpot, right? But once you and somebody get out in the sunlight and remove all of the stale energy and recognize the power lies within, Source is going to expose something that was said about you being a bully, that how you move through storms of life. Somebody is going to say about you specifically, right? And these are loved ones, right? Going to say something about you in particular because you've awakened to your own power, because you have awakened to your own power within you. So these energies. And and I don't worry about people who cross watch videos, because people stalk videos all the time. Oh no, I never, but see, it's already covered because Source, you've already heard this before. You've already heard it in the wind. You've already heard people say that certain energies, loved ones have said this about you, right? Um, and you've worked really, really hard. They were saying it being shady. Loved ones have said it about you, whether it was an aunt, an uncle, a cousin. Somebody told you that. Somebody said these things about you. Um, Basically, just trying to sort of challenge, bring out the darkness in you. These energies have already said about you that you're judgmental, you're controlling, you're skeptical of everything, you're critical of everything, that you're arrogant, you're sensitive, you're impatient, and easily angered. They already said those things about you, right? And so they're trying to, somebody's trying to challenge something with being shady behind other people's backs, hoping that you would not just get up and walk away from a conversation or keep something high vibrational. So say your spirit has, or your ancestors, your spirit guides they've already said, they've already guided you out the door. They've already guided you out of a conversation. You're like, Virgo spirit has already left the building. You've already prayed about something and went back into hermit mode, and that was the sun outside cleansing. That's sunbathing outside. You're already doing the energy work. You and somebody are already at peace with something, doing the energy work from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Like you just tired of carrying people on your back. You're learning how to detach. With detachment, you finally feel whole inside, with or without the fulfillment of a particular desire. Ironically, that's often when it's fulfilled. Yeah. A lot of stuff is being exposed. What people said about you, what people think about you, loved ones, um, being exposed. Yeah, and and people that you thought you were in partnership with, people that you thought you were in business with, is all getting exposed, because source is trying to help somebody, saying you already have foreknowledge, but your foreknowledge is coming from your ancestors. That's what it's really coming from, because those are the ones that are saying, okay, get up and walk out of something, get up and walk away from something, enlighten yourself, like remember your power within, right? So yeah, some energies don't think you making it all about you, that you being selfish, but you're taking it back to the fifth house. Fifth house is about romance, creativity, children, projects, fun, self expression, hobbies, what makes you feel good, right? So you're taking it back to your own inner child. You're like, everybody has an inner child. Everybody likes to have fun, this, that, and the other. I'm taking back to a place of innocence, right? A place of innocence where you're returning to pure consciousness is what's happening. But that's what I have for you, Virgo. See you in the next video.